could involve the Tucker sighting.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Do I ever know? Do you ever know what I'm talking about?
I'm your wife.
I don't know what that means. Dell companies do not dominate industries, and if you are not doing this, you will never, ever be in the top 100 places to work.
Now is author Daren Martin.
Culture is the game. If you don't change the culture, you don't change the company.
Great cultures over the course of 10 years will yield a 746% increase in your net profit.
Holy moly!
One person in the top 1% is worth 12 in the bottom 1%. Called the culture architect for a reason.
We need to get into it.
Okay.
Hello.
Well, hey.
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome.
Well, not welcome back. I mean, welcome to
technically
today's
we're
show.
supposed to say welcome back, but yes, welcome to Company Culture with Daren Martin and the great
Elise Martin.
And we have a special guest on our show today that's not going to be revealed.
It's
just
not arriving yet. Yes.
Not arriving yet,
Well,
but
technically already here.
I don't know. I don't see another microphone.
Nope.
How's this guest going to appear without a
I don't know.
microphone or a pair of headphones?
It's a surprise.
So
what are we talking about today?
Henry Ford had a no jocularity, no laughing, no smiling policy at work.
Are you kidding me?
Can you just picture that, right?
Oh, my goodness. I will be fired in about 20 seconds.
There was actually a guy, my understanding, of course, it's years ago, that was fired for just being a little too jocular. Okay? Jocularity. We've got to bring that word back.
That word kind of sounds masculine to me, like jocks.
It has nothing to do with jocks.
Oh.
But he said, hey, work is a serious place. Work is a serious place. And if you're not being serious, then you don't belong here. All that other stuff, the fun stuff, the happy stuff.
Get rid of the color.
Yeah.
Paint everything black and white.
Yeah, everything. We just want it monochromatic and just flat. And
Let's just give everybody plain biscuits and water.
Henry Ford was dead wrong.
No donuts.
Dead
cookies.
wrong. Because what we're finding out is that play at work, people having fun at work, is actually a pretty big deal. It makes a huge difference in productivity, well-being, so on and so forth. You want to hear like some of the top 6 things?
But I just want to add to that if we think of, and I know this might not be the best comparison, but if we think of, we all learned a long time ago that kids learn best when they play.
Absolutely.
Think of a kindergarten, right? Legos, all those educational games. Their creativity comes out. It helps them to grow and progress in kindergartens. Why aren't we doing that in our offices? Why did we take everything we knew that was good and just forget about it when we got older?
Well, and unfortunately, even in the school system, this is a complete other subject or, for another time. But that's what happens through the school process. You just suck all of the fun and the play right out of school. And then guess what? We're surprised. Kids don't learn very well. They're not very creative, et cetera, et cetera. So companies are moving back towards infusing play. I call it push play in company of owners. But they're getting back to this idea that, look, people just perform at a better level when they're having a good time.
Right.
There's the great, Southwest Airlines quote, people rarely succeed at something unless they're having a good time doing it.
Yes.
And think about, oh, man.
What?
That totally reminds me.
What?
You remember the guy on American Airlines? It was actually American Eagle that was so funny. Okay, we got to put that video together.
Oh, yes.
And give him a shout out.
But he said a great thing about fun at work. We said, you look like you're having such a great time. Tell us your story. He said, was it his mom or his grandma?
I think it was his mom.
I think it was his mom that said the only thing you're going to have control over for the rest of your life is your attitude.
And so, might as well have a good time,
Might as well have a good time.
And this guy lived it. He
was amazing.
On the microphone, and I guess there's no FAA. Is it FAA? FFA is the Future Farmers of America. I was trying to look because I could have sworn that I heard somebody on a plane recently say the phone nonsense is gone, that you can just leave your phone on. But I was actually on the plane, and they were playing, the guy was on there saying, oh, and you must turn your phone off and every device that has anything electronic with it, including your pacemaker.
Did he put his lips together like this?
I don't know. You can't actually see them.
Was it like the crab in The Little Mermaid? When he was like this, he put his lips together?
I don't know. That was my mimicking him. You know how it goes when
I know,
I'm,
but it was
when
too
I'm
funny
copying.
not to mimic.
But at any rate, so he made that whole announcement. And so
But he was
I
very
Googled,
serious, unfun.
of course, in airplane mode. And
Mm-hmm.
after my phone was turned off, okay, maybe it might not have been turned off. And it might not have been in airplane mode. But I Googled because I wanted to find out if this guy was just, missed the memo or something. But I Googled FFA, cell phone regulations, which is Future Farmers of America, which, by the way, I'm wearing a little tractor today. Maybe that will go explained later. It has nothing to do with
Little gold tractor.
little gold tractor on my jacket. So at any rate, so back to the guy on the plane though, he was just a hoot. It made everybody's day. He came by. I was like, dude, you just made our trip. This is fantastic. Everybody was in a much better mood. And he was talking about the fact that people need to get over it. He says, when you show up at an airport,
Right.
once you walk through that door, and this is so true, he says you have no control. And control freaks, he said, they just hate to travel because they can't take it because the TSA's in charge, the flight attendant's in charge, the pilot's in charge, the gate agent's in charge.
Follow instructions. You have to wait for your plane. As much as you complain or rant or whatever, you're not getting on the plane until they're ready. It's up to them.
So when you're in a setting like that and you run across somebody who's really having a blast, that just stands out, and it kind of influenced the entire mood, the entire thing. So, okay. I'm going to give you the 6. This is out of an article that there's this software anyway. I'm not familiar with it, but I just came across them. But maybe we're going to track them down. Cypher, CIPHR. They do software for HR companies.
All right,
or
give
HR.
it to me.
Okay, happy employees are healthier.
I agree.
So what does that mean? Why does that matter to me and my company? Well, I mean, if you want people to not be taking sick days, you want people to not be spending healthcare dollars.
But it's not just that. When you're healthier and you're happier and you're gonna have more energy.
It translates.
You're gonna do a better job. You're gonna spend more time on your work. You're gonna be more creative. You're gonna come up with better ideas, right?
Yeah. So
have you ever had those days when you're like draggy, you didn't get enough sleep? You're not gonna do your job as well as you would if you
translated hungover.
Oh yeah, if you're hungover, draggy, you went out and had shots, whatever people do.
I know what you mean. Or maybe you just didn't get enough sleep or whatever. But yeah, those days are lost. Those are miserable. But when you are on top of your game, you got up, maybe went for a morning
wake
walk.
Up early.
You do everything right. Have a little bit of coffee, drink lots of water.
You didn't eat too much. You had the right.
I mean, you've seen this.
Yes.
Then your productivity just goes off the chart. My productivity, my creativity, all of that stuff.
And happiness and energy and everything, right?
Yeah. So happy employees are healthier. So listen to this. Young employees that have fun in the workplace, from belly laughs. That was not a belly laugh. Is that a belly laugh?
I don't know.
And birthday celebrations.
I love birthdays. Birthday is my favorite. Actually, that's my favorite holiday.
Is it?
It's
Birthday?
My birthday.
Oh, okay. Well, I love it. We're getting ready to celebrate that again. To Xboxes and massages.
Ooh, massages
at work.
In work?
How cool is that?
I have
you
a
get
resume.
a foot massage every once in a while.
If anybody has massages
it's been too long.
at work.
I promised you that as part of your employment, didn't I? Foot massage.
I can't remember the last time I got a foot massage.
Oh my goodness.
Darren.
Okay, I'm going to take care of this right now.
I'm going to talk to the HR department.
Give me your foot. Give me your
I'll
foot.
just give my hand.
Not your hand. Okay. They take less sick. Leave. I can't even read now. They work harder. They're more productive. Although the same can't be said for the older workforce.
Oh.
Because the older workforce evidently is like, fun at work. No, this is not a place for fun.
Yeah.
I don't really think that has anything to do with age.
Not always. Again, it's a stereotype.
It is a stereotype. But this was actual research. I mean, come on. This was the numbers.
And we can say, based on research, a great deal of them, right? And I've seen them in staff meetings. Like I've been in companies where we do fun things for new hires. Like we did these two. It's a game. I can't remember the game, but what it was called. But it was like
spin the bottle.
No, it was 2 questions. So
that would be inappropriate work.
I don't know. You don't have to do it kissing after spin the bottle. You could do
Okay, this is where you
Something
get
else.
all analytical and technical on me, but that wasn't the point. So
Anyways,
anyway, you did this thing.
We did this
Was
thing.
a game?
New employee. So I submit two stories about my life. So nobody knows me yet. I'm a new hire. Just got
Right.
hired like 2 weeks ago. Nobody knows me. And we're going to get everybody together in a room to get to know the new hires. So it's a new hire party kind of
I
thing.
love it.
Fun,
I love
right?
it.
So each new hire gets brought up to the stage, and the host of the show, we did it like a game show. The guy
Right.
wore a big
Fun.
tie, it would read out the stories while the new employees stood in front of all the staff. So they're looking at you and they're hearing the story. Now, what the new employees did, which was really fun, was they would tell one story that sounded stereotypical based on the way they know how people perceive them, and then we asked the crowd to choose which story is the truth. Two truths and a lie. That's what it was called.
Oh,
Right? And
Yeah, I love
it
that
was
game.
always the outlandish story that you would never think was the truth. We had one lady who, she told all these two stories, which I would have sworn would have gone really well with her. And the one that was true was about her getting chased by a helicopter.
chased by a
Chased by a helicopter. I was like, what?
I've been chased by a water buffalo. Does that count? True story. With David Dietrich, by the way, in Thailand.
I've been chased
I
by
grew up
boys.
in Thailand. Yeah, you've been chased by boys all your life.
I'm going to say boys because men they don't.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, they don't need to like, and I mean like literal chasing, like follow you around.
Oh yeah, that's a whole
creeper
different
kind
like,
of.
whoa, on the bicycle.
Saw you at the grocery store, then you show up at the place where I'm having dinner.
Nothing is more creepy. Okay,
That's
that's a
really
separate
good.
show.
Yeah, separate
Having
show.
fun improves communication and collaboration. Nearly 2/3, 65% of knowledge workers have to collaborate during the day.
Mm-hmm.
When people are having fun at work, it just opens up those pathways. They're talking to each other more. They're interacting with each other more. They're being a lot more just present.
And it's not-
It improves collaboration.
It's not just. It doesn't just improve collaboration. It improves collaboration through trust. Because Harville Hendricks said that you need to play. If you're not, you won't play with someone you don't trust.
Yes,
You know what
absolutely.
I mean? Like.
Harville Hendricks, by the way, who wrote Getting the Love You Want,
Mm-hmm.
which Oprah Winfrey called one of the 5 best books ever.
She
and
said it saved her
said
relationship.
That it changed. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
saved her relationship. He was, I think Harville was on Oprah 18 times.
Oh my goodness, he's amazing.
I just want to be on there once. That's all, Oprah. Just put
Just
me on there
once.
once. Fun breeds creativity. Of course, we get that one, blah, 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 right? When you're having fun, you're going to be more creative.
Yep.
And think about when working on a project, we experience this.
Yes.
Sometimes, every once in a while I'm working on something, I get real stressed, I'm uptight, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, Thankfully, that doesn't happen very often. But when I'm just having a blast
Mm-hmm.
and doing, what we love to do, which is we love what we do, and
Mm-hmm.
let's just have a great time doing it, then all of a sudden the ideas are flowing. Same thing goes, with the collaboration, creativity.
I'm going to quote Mary Poppins. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun.
Can you sing it?
You find the fun and snap. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see.
Just a spoonful of sugar.
How the medicine go
Oh
down.
man, okay, that is not in the show notes, but when
Sorry.
is anything you say ever in the show
Sometimes I
notes?
break out into song.
Promoting fun attracts an audience.
What do you
Okay.
mean by an audience?
Just that people are drawn to companies
That are having fun.
that are having fun. And it also, by the way, number 6 over there, having fun encourages advocacy. And basically what both those mean is that when you're having fun at work, you're out promoting the company. You're like, oh my goodness, man, you won't believe what we did at work today. This was so much fun. We had these, hallway races in our office chairs or something just to kind of break up the.
You're posting it on social media.
Yeah,
You're tagging
yeah,
the
stuff
company.
is,
But-
and then people go, "Whoa, I want to be a part of that. That looks like you guys are having a great time."
And a lot of companies put a lot of energy into making work fun, having things they can do, games they can play to help creativity, lunch get-togethers, all that stuff, because they want to encourage coming to work every day as being something exciting.
Absolutely.
You want them to be excited to come to work.
And why not have some energy and some life to it? Look, people who work from home, it's not like, and by the way, people who work from home are 20% more productive or whatever. They just produce more. So all this nonsense about, people can't be working from home, they're not going to work at all. If they're not going to work at home, they're probably not going to work at work. That's just, they're not excited. They're not wired, whatever.
It's all about hiring the right people.
But people that work from home are productive. Well, you can't tell me they don't take quick breaks, do fun things, laugh a little bit, watch a little bit of YouTube, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it gets them back in the mood and they get going again. We are not meant to be, 8 hours straight. In fact, there's so many studies that have been done. You put people on a task for 8 hours. They just do it nonstop. The ones who take a break, take 2 or 3 breaks and actually have a lunchtime, actually produce more material. They come out with more product, so it's countable, measurable.
And then there's the mistake. A lot of employers are encouraging the, I slept at my desk. I didn't take lunch for 3 years, and I got the job done. But we're
going to do a whole show on that.
Yeah,
let's do a whole show on that because that's one of my pet peeves. But the whole I worked 90-hour.
But but when you encourage fun and you let them take breaks and you make sure they're taking their lunch and getting that break, that mental break, or doing something fun and creative that gets them moving, people shouldn't be sitting all day like this.
And I know you don't mean it this way, but even when we say things like let them take breaks, okay, encourage them to take breaks, insist on them taking breaks. The breaks are hardwired into the system. I can't remember. I may have mentioned this on the show before in a different context, but I think it's Microsoft. I don't know if they do this anymore. But they used to at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
It was maybe on the first name, last name show, right? So at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they'd play this one song or some, get up and dance song, and everybody jumps out of their desk and starts dancing.
D-Custom in Dallas does that too.
Do they?
Yeah, I don't know if they're still doing it, but I remember I came up once, I was going to get something, and then I heard music, and I went in there, and all of a sudden, they're all like, Shakira, Shakira, line dancing and stuff.
Turn down for what? Okay,
that's a good one.
This is a bad show.
Do we let anybody choose the song, or do we just pick a song?
I think you can't let anybody just choose a song.
Why not?
Well, you got to edit them. I mean, the song could have all sorts of.
But if they're all grown-ups working in the office.
Oh, everybody knows it's 2018. There are no grown-ups in America. I'm just kidding. I'm
a grown-up.
Yes, you are. Okay, number 5. I skipped number 5, but there's a little story. I have to read this. Okay, and I can't pronounce all the words.
All right,
but yes,
it's
that good.
I'm listening.
Having fun makes employees more productive. Well, okay, we get that. So I did a study with some things and some people, and they're more productive, average of 12, in some cases up to 20% more than the control group, right, from having fun. But check this out. An excited Kurt Womack of the Theoko factory in Utah, that right there is a mouthful, sprinted into his manager's office on the first day of spring and asked if the folks on the factory floor could do something fun, say, head outside and fly paper airplanes if they met their quota 2 hours early. The manager, Mr. Grumpy, maybe Mrs. Grumpy, wrinkled his brow and vetoed the idea. He said, no way. Kurt persisted. Well, then, what if we exceed our quota by 50%? Figuring he had nothing to lose. The manager finally gave in. So you know what happened? Later that day, 1:30, the manager checked on things and found that his employees had reached 110% of their quota by 3 p.m.
Wow.
So by 150%, they were over the mark of what was set. The airplanes were launched, laughter rang out, everybody had a good time. So how do you think the manager responded to that?
He encouraged them to do it again, I
hope.
Oh,
man, of course. No. He said, well, imagine what you guys could have gotten done if you didn't take those 2 hours of going and fly the airplane. It was like he missed the point completely. But fortunately, this team and Kurt Womack and his other friends in Utah, they kept pushing. They kept doing it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they went and opened their own company.
Yeah, well... That's the risk, right?
Right, that's the risk.
That's the downside of not having fun at work is they're going to go do something somewhere else. But no, so they kept going. They were doing other things, cupcake parties and blah, 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 blah. And finally he got the idea and entered into the fun. But, to hand it to him, there's this risk. He's like, well, if, we just start having all this frivolity at work and people aren't doing their job, then... But the truth is, you could say, well, okay, the argument's there. Well, if you could do 150% of your quota, why don't you just crank up the quota and just have people do it? He was missing the synergy of what took place when you actually put the fun in there.
They got
produced more with the fun.
Then they're going to go outside. But
it's like getting a sports team all riled up before a game, right? When you get them in their locker room and they're like, crush it, let's go crush it. You know, it's a lot better than you say, okay, guys, well, let's just go out and play the game, right? There's something about that chemistry that gets going. So I don't know. So I've got fun at work ideas. What are some things you could do to have fun at work? What are some things that could bring in?
Like now we're at work, right?
Like, yeah,
this
right.
is work?
Yes, we are. Like, what are some fun things you could introduce or do to bring fun into work?
What could I do? Okay, here we go.
Dun, 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 the moment we've all been waiting for. There he is. There he is.
Hello.
The newest... the newest addition to both the Martin family and the now third co-host of...
No, he's
Company
the boss.
Culture magazine with Tucker
He's
is the way that show's going to be called now. We're actually changing the name, Company Culture with Tucker.
Tucker.
Okay, so tell us about Tucker.
Tucker is a 2-month-old Morkie. A Morkie is a crossbreed between a Maltese poodle and a Yorkshire Terrier.
Hand him over here. I'm going to model him while you're talking. Get him over
He's
here.
sleeping.
I'm going to model him while you're talking.
But I want to hold him.
There we go.
He's so cute.
Okay, so keep describing him.
He's asleep, so just cuddle him. Yeah, he wants to be cuddled. Yep. Mommy knows. There we go. Oh, Daddy loves Tucker.
Anyway, so this is the newest addition to our family,
Now-
and he's in our workplace.
So so animals in the workplace. Again, this is another example of fun at work. So in classrooms and schools, in middle schools, or is it middle? No, elementary schools in the United States. I know they have class pets, right? And the reason they
Absolutely.
have them is because
Old folks' homes, when
Old
they
folks'
do
homes.
that, it generates,
generally
more
there's going to be
better
one person
health.
who cares more or takes better or whatever. You can assign someone that has to make sure the puppy's okay. But if everybody is chipping in for the responsibilities of this cohabitated pet that's friendly and knows everyone, right? You're increasing this bond of we're all one. I had the words, but I've forgotten
So
them now.
it's the classic problem, though, of then the one person brings their dog that runs and jumps all over the desk and chews up all the cords and, poops in the hallway and causes all sorts of problems. And they go, okay, no pets, no this, no that.
I think what you do, just like having a social media policy, you have a pet policy that says pets are welcome. We want you to have your pet as long as well-behaved, trained.
Certain criteria.
Not that animals don't have accidents. Of course they do. You're responsible for your pet's accidents, obviously, like you would anytime. But as long as your pet's well-behaved, he's trained, he's not causing a ruckus, he can totally stay. If he can't, then, somebody will talk to you and he won't be able to come anymore. But it's the same as bringing your friend or your sister to visit. If they start raiding the fridge and eating other people's lunch, obviously they can't come anymore.
Okay, so let people bring their pets to work. Okay, I'm going to give you some other ones and see what you think of these. Lottery syndicates. I guess that's where people pool their money and get it in there, and then they go buy a lottery ticket, and then,
Oh, yeah. No, I love that.
Same as football polls,
We did that
basketball
in
polls.
our office once when the lottery got up
Did
really
you ever
high.
win?
No, we didn't win, but it was so fun because
It just created some energy.
It was really energetic. I was assigned to collect the money. Everybody pitched in. Everybody had to pitch in the same amount, so I think it was like $6 each. And then we bought X amount of tickets depending on how much money we had. And then it doesn't matter which ticket won, we would split the winnings.
Yes,
Yeah.
charity fundraising. I guess this is where you say, hey, we're going to do a charity fundraising for such so. Everybody bring a can of beans or, I've seen the ones where they bring school supplies at the start of the school year for inner city schools, et cetera, et cetera. Karaoke.
Not everybody likes karaoke.
I know. Well, everybody likes karaoke,
Watching
either watching it or
watching it.
performing in it, right?
But you got to have enough people who want to perform or enough alcohol to get everybody performing.
Well, that's true. Yoga at work. I was at a company that actually had a break, and they would do
We
yoga.
did yoga, yeah,
in
we
the
did
break
yoga.
room.
But again,
Okay.
I worked at a company where we had yoga once a week. The teacher would come in. The company paid the teacher, and we had the staff, tipped her or whatever the case. But the problem came that a lot of people could attend, right? A lot of people could attend yoga, but a lot of people couldn't because their managers frowned upon it. Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then it didn't.
I don't want to see you be a part of
So
that.
the effort didn't work because it wasn't company wide.
It's got to be. Look, that's the thing with all of this is it can't be okay, we're going to let you do that, but it better not take too long. You have to have a fun attitude in doing it.
I don't think it's not a better not take too long. It's more like, oh yeah, you can do that. And then the second that person has like a moment where, I can't get this to you at that time, blah, blah. It probably had nothing to do with the yoga. They're going to blame the yoga, right?
Fancy dress days. Now, I don't like this one because I, quite frankly, don't own any fancy dresses. So I don't even know how I participate. Well, that's true. Okay, it could be all sorts of board games. I've always said, why not put a puzzle out on the table? Why not have chess boards spread around where people take
lightsabers?
Turns?
We had lightsabers once.
We had so if you had a chessboard where they were set up and you had like accounting over here, and this was marketing,
right?
And then anybody from that, and you moved the marker to show where the play was, right?
Right.
Anybody could make that move, and then, it's now accounting's turn. Oh, I'm from accounting. I'm going to make my move. And
that's interesting.
Lightsabers, you said you guys had.
Lightsabers, yeah.
And knitting clubs.
Sure. If it's a hot...
What?
Like an old folks home or a hospice.
No,
maybe.
That's not true. There's a lot of people that knit.
Knitting.
Hugh is in the house. So fun doesn't have to. I don't know. The only
person I knew that knit was my grandma.
So the point is, fun doesn't have to cost a lot. It could simply be laughing with colleagues, celebrating office birthdays, or enjoying work-related tasks. Some of this stuff could take place over lunch. You could have a gathering in the lunchroom, and you could do open mic, right? What about doing an open mic at work where people get to share their poetry, they get to do comedy routines? I mean, there's So here's the top 5 that were picked. All right, you ready for this?
We did a chili cook-off, which did well usually. But what happens is not everybody knows how to make chili, so you get 5 or 6 people entering, and you make judges, and you have like a little. It's great. But the one that did really well, again, you have to go back and investigate your people. What do they want? What do they enjoy? And sometimes they won't tell you, so you need to just try some stuff and see what does better.
Come up with some ideas. Right? Get some people going with it. So
if they want to fly people airplanes, fine. But I was going to get to the point that we had a chili cook-off, and it did well.
Like during the show?
But what we realized is that everybody kept asking if we were going to do a bake-off. So our office was predominantly female, so they all wanted a bake-off. And when we did the bake-off, it was a huge blowout. There was so much competition going around.
Who won?
I can't remember. I wasn't paying attention because I just love everybody.
I bet it was the special brownies that somebody made.
I think it was the macaroons. Somebody made macaroons.
Just kidding. Unless it was Colorado, it probably wasn't special brownies. So dress down Friday. I mean, come on. That's
Casual Fridays.
Pretty much everywhere,
that should be
right?
in every office.
Office
sure
parties, nights out. I do think people enjoy office parties, although sometimes they can get a little out of control. But I also think the fun ought to be scheduled for during the work day as much as possible, so people don't have to give up their other life. A pool table, an office pet, 18%, well-being massage days, et cetera, et cetera.
You could do an office party. So I worked in an office where we did a Halloween party, and each department decorated their department, and then there was a competition for best decor. But once all of them were decorated, a day before Halloween, when the schools didn't have anything going on, we would schedule a day for an office Halloween party in the daytime, and people could bring their kids to go around all the departments that decorated for Halloween. So now you've combined family
with work,
your kids, your office.
I love it.
Having a good time.
So I just thought I'd do a little reading while we were on the show. Actually, I'm just kidding. So a couple of quotes. Brian Sutton Smith said, this is in A Company of Owners, the best-selling, the opposite of play isn't work, it's depression. To play is to act out and be willful, exultant, and committed as if one is assured of one's prospects. Okay, great. Play, Pat Kane said, will be to the 21st century what work was to the last 300 years of industrial society, our dominant way of knowing, doing, and creating value. And then I said, old school saying, all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. And as I started the show, all work and no play makes companies a very dull company, and dull companies do not dominate industries. So I actually, in A Company of Owners, came up with 21 starter ideas of things that you can do to kind of breathe a little life in, teach hobby or interest classes, have a department pet, set up a friendly competition, et cetera.
And you can get the book on Amazon.
All sorts of cool stuff. Yes,
It's
of
a great
course.
book.
If you don't have
It's
a
a really
company of
quick read.
owners,
Yep.
that's we'd be honored if you had it. So we got a quick hit video, and then we're going to come back and Martinize something.
All right.
Push play. No, that's not my instruction to the cameraman to turn the camera on. I'm talking about the way you operate at work. Henry Ford had a policy that said there was to be no smiling and no jocularity within the workplace. What does that even mean? Who uses the word jocularity? You know what? I'm bringing it back because that's what's missing in a lot of the workplaces today. Here's the reality. I know a lot of you are scared to death that if people have a good time at work, it's going to make your company worse. Here's the science behind it. If you want to improve your people, if you want to improve their performance, if you want to improve the performance of your company, and you want to improve your profits, then you need to push play. People do consistently better when they're having a good time at work. And if you're not building in that playful attitude and that playful sense within the workplace, you're going to be suffering as a company. It's been said that all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. The same is true for your company. Dull companies don't dominate. Push play.
Oh man! And again, that's some old video right there because it's long-haired Johnny Cash, Darren, all dressed all in black.
All right.
And for whatever reason, my right arm was not working at that point in my life. Okay, so there are so many different things that people can do. It's really about bringing some lifeblood. One of the things I think you ought to consider is in your hiring practice, hire some funny people, hire some fun people. You want all sorts of people within your company because it brings some texture and it's where you're going to get the most amount of ideas and creativity. Yeah. But hire a few fun people too and let them mix it up. Let them come up with some great things and some fun things.
Personality should definitely be a part of your hiring process. Definitely. Not just personality de facto of I went to this sorority, you went to this sorority, oh my gosh, we're going to hire her or him, It should be also, oh my goodness, their previous boss said they're the life of the room. They bring great energy to the office. This is a plus. It's something that actually should probably be on people's resumes, right?
Yes, absolutely. How fun are you? Okay, you ready to Martinize something?
Tucker is.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
You're going to notice a drum beat with some of my Martinizes because they have a very consistent theme and it has to do with friction in the workplace or in our lives in general. Mm-hmm. But I am so tired of industries that are under technologied. And what do I mean by that? I mean that they fail to make things easier on the consumer. I just went through the third month of trying to make something work with a mortgage company, and I'm on their website, and there's no way to do what they're asking me to do because they're just so far behind the times. But this is true of insurance companies. This is true of mortgage companies. It's true of banks in many cases. Way, way behind the curve. It's 2018. Technology is way ahead of you, and it's about time that you made things easier for people to do. We ought to be shopping on our phones. We ought to be closing the deal. We ought to be, paying bills and doing stuff. But the frustration that I have is when I encounter a company that is so far behind the times that you've got to fill out all of this junk and you've got to go through this convoluted system because they're just under technology. If you're not investing in technology in your company, as I say in Beached Whale, you're a Beached Whale company, and it's time to technology up.
Technology up.
Okay.
Not down.
Not down.
Up.
All right, so we've got to get Tucker out of here, and I think that's a wrap.
Yep. It's grass time.
Peace. See you next week.
All right.